Okay, so it's just a quick video. It's mainly aimed at Bob. We've been chatting on Facebook about looper pedals and things. With things as they are at the minute, and it's difficult for everybody to be playing with their bands and their mates and things like that, but they still want to practice songs. I've fished this out of my cupboard. I've had it years, but I've not used it at all, and I've started working my way through it. It's really good because you can lay down like the rhythm guitar part, and then you can practice your twiddly bits over the top, or practice singing, or it's good for songwriting as well, because you can put a chord progression in, just let it start looping, and then just try lots of different ways of singing over the top of it, lots of different melody lines and things like that. So anyway, this is the Boss RC 300 Bob, and it's the flagship looping station that Boss do. They do two others, do the RC3, which is a basic but still very good single pedal looper, and then they do the RC30, which is a two pedal looper, and then they do this one, which does everything really. I'll show you some of the basic bits. I think they do a hand operated one as well. I think that's aimed at sort of beatboxers and things like that. I think it's a blue one. But anyway, first of all, I'll show you the connections around the back so you can see what it's got on there. So we've got mic in there. It's got 48 volt phantom power there as well. Then you've got your inputs, right and then left mono. There's an auxiliary. In that auxiliary you can have a backing track playing in there, or you can put your microphone in there if you want to. Some people do that. Then you've got main outs, right and left outs, phones. Then you've got sub outs, left and right. That's the same as your mains. The only difference being is that you can turn them on or off, and you can send the stuff from that from there to a mixing desk or whatever. Then you've got 1, 2, 3 and 4 controls. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now for those you can use those with the AB switches, the 1, 2 switches, expression pedals and things, and that can all be programmed in via what I'm going to show you shortly. Then you've got MIDI in, out and through. I don't use MIDI at all. It makes my brain hurt. Then you've got a optical USB in, which I don't even know what that does, I've never looked. And then you've got your power on and off. That's the back end. Okay, so let's go back round the front. I'm going to do this as quickly as I can because I know how boring these things are. So you got, that's one channel or track, track 2, track 3, expression pedal that you can all of the pedals, every single pedal on here you can reassign for whatever you like. So you've got expression pedal, you can set that for what you like. I tend to have that set for overall output volume, so that if you've recorded a loop and you think, well, that's playing back too loud, you can just ease back on that with your foot a bit and it'll just drop the volume of all of the loops on all of the tracks. So that's what I use that for. Then you've got loop effects switch, and there's your different effects. Now they come built in. I've never used them. I use external effects if I want to use effects. Again, that looper switch then becomes obsolete, so you can reassign that to do whatever you want, you know, like stop, start, on, off, up loop, down loop, whatever. Then you've got input levels. One for the auxiliary, which we've said is around the back, instrument input and mic input, and you turn those up and down, and then there's a peak level meter there, so you don't want to be peaking on that. Then this is the section for programming loops. Then this is the section for programming each track. So a loop is made up of separate tracks. So this part controls the tracks, this part controls the overall loop. So I'll go through these real quick. So you've got your memory edit, forwards, backwards, scroll wheel, right and exit, and then you've got system. So system, if you alter anything in the system, it alters the whole machine. So if I click on system, that then opens that. So if you see there, it says you can adjust the contrast, assign what the effects pedal does, which is what we said a minute ago. So I'm having to move this to see what I'm doing. Memory extent, so you don't have to have it so that you can access all 99 memory slots. Or incidentally, this will record, and this is really handy if it's your thing, this will record 3 hours. It's got 3 hour memory in it. So what you could do is, if you wanted to, on those 1 to 99 slots, you could record a backing track for your whole set list. So you could play the guitar part, the rhythm guitar part for the whole song, for up to 3 hours worth. And then you just hit, like patch 8 is Bring Me Sunshine or whatever, and you just click on patch 8 and then hit start, and it will play that whole 3-minute song or whatever you've put in there. So that's really quite handy. So you can do that. 3 hours is a long time. So that's that. So don't forget, this is system we're looking at, and that's knob mode. That's whether it's immediate, and you can change that to memory and all different settings there. I've never really used that. The system I tend to pretty much leave as it is. Auto record, on the other section, which I'll show you in a minute, you can set it to auto record, and the trigger is how much volume it needs to hear before it triggers, so that it doesn't sort of start recording, with the slightest little sound. So you can alter that there. Record pedal action. So when you hit the record pedals here, what it does is it records first, then it plays back. So you hit record, then when you hit record again, it stops recording and automatically goes to play. And you can change that, I think, record and overdub. So what we do is you hit the pedal, play a part, it will loop that, but if you hit record again, it will overwrite that. Okay, so again, it's got reams of different things you can do. And then your input is your memory out, track 1 is memory out, track 2, so that's just sort of saying what happens on each track. So it plays whatever's in the memory, so it plays the loop that you've recorded. Okay, rhythm, you've got a rhythm, it's got a built-in rhythm machine. It's got about 100 different built-in rhythms. Most of them are quite good actually, simple but good. Output level, that's for the sub, if you remember at the top there, so you can change the output level of that. Auto off, so it switches itself off after a period of time. Then it gets into the MIDI stuff, and as I say, you'll have to look at that yourself, because I don't do MIDI, it makes my brain hurt. Same with the USB stuff. So that's all of that. So if you exit that, so that was all system stuff here. So now if we go into a memory edit, so we're looking at patch 80 and it's empty. So if I click in memory, these are all the settings you can adjust within that patch, which is all of these to make up one patch. So if I click on memory edit, you've got the overall memory level of that particular patch. So this isn't system wide now, it's just that one patch. Okay, so you can alter the memory level. You can alter where the input goes. It either goes to the main and the sub, or just the sub, or just the main. Right, again, you can turn those on and off. So for example, you could use the sub to send like the click track to your ear from the rhythm section. Now I know I'm making this sound really complicated, but it's not. If I can do it, anybody can. Then you've got MIDI sync internal. So it's just sort of saying, do you want it to use the internal sync of this? Now, as I say, I don't do MIDI, but I have got a little drum machine, and on most drum machines, if you MIDI link it, the clocks will talk to each other, so you can use your drum machine to set the rhythm in this, or the rhythm in this to set the rhythm on your drum machine, and your reverbs and digital delays and things like that. Then you've got oh, hang on, I pressed the wrong button. Let me go back. Sorry, that's my fault. Let me just exit that. and you got record mode in stereo, tempo. You can, obviously that's to do with the drum track thing. You can set the tempo by turning, most of these you set by turning this knob. Fade out time, so you can set a track to fade out when it gets to the end. Auto record, this is where you can turn it on. So what you can do is, if you're not very good at, you know, everybody talks about how hard it is to hit the start and stop. What you can do there is you can turn auto record on, and that's where as soon as it hears a note it will start recording, so that avoids you having to do that, oh, of, you know, hitting the button thing to get started. I'm waffling on a bit. Single track play, you can set that, I've got it set to off, so when I record on track 1 and play say 12 bar blues, and then say on track 2 I write a little bit of twiddly stuff, right, then what happens is that it plays on those single tracks. Okay, so if I then change that to single track, sorry, it plays to both of those tracks. If I press single track play, if I play track 1 and then I hit track 2, it will turn track 1 off. If I've got single track turned to off, then I hit track 1, it will play track 1. If I hit track 2, it will play track 2, and track 3 it will play track 3. Does that make sense? I think so. Then you've got track change, immediate or end. This is really handy, because the good thing about this system is because it's got 1, 2, 3 tracks, you could do verse, chorus, bridge if you wanted to. And then what you can do is you can set track change to loop end. So then what you do is you hit that track and it starts playing your verse. Then while you're still playing your verse, you can hit play on track 2, which is your chorus, but nothing happens, the light flashes. But as soon as the loop for track 1, your verse, finishes, then track 2 automatically starts itself. Then if the next thing you think, right, once my chorus is done, I'm back to my verse, you hit play there, and again nothing happens here until this reaches the end. And again, so it just avoids all that, oh bugger it, I've missed my timing. So it avoids all of that messing about. Let me put that back. Oh no, sorry, it won't do it until I save it anyway. Then it's got a built-in reverb, so you can stick reverb on each of, again, but don't forget we're talking about a patch now. So I could, on 80, I could put some reverb on it, but it would only put it on track 80. So all these adjustments are only for the one track, for the one loop, sorry. And then you can assign switches, alright? So you can assign, and you pick your target, what you want it to be, the source, where it's coming from, all those normal things. So this is assign 1 look, and you can do all these different things. Assign 2, and it does 8 of those. So there's 8 different things you can assign. So you can assign 8 different pedals, either on the machine or off the machine via the controls on the outside. Okay, and I think that is more or less it. There's me 8. Yeah, there's me 8. Right, and I'll just press exit to come out of that. Then, nearly there. It's really straightforward, honest to God. Once you get your, once you've had a play with it, then you've got this. So each one of these is for your track. So you can then do alterations to each track. So this is a volume slider for each track. So that changes the volume of track 1, track 2, track 3, etc. Then you've got your master volume here and your master start stop. So if you hit that, that starts all 3 loops if they've got anything on. Or you can start the loops individually. Okay, so if I press edit, this is the same on all 3 of these. Okay, if there's something recorded on a track, that little light will be on, so you can easily tell whether you got something recorded. So if I just press edit track 1, right, and then go back over to our window. So track 1 play, I've got it in loop mode. Right, and again you can change that to like 1 shot, so you just plays it once. So I could do it so that instead of it looping, I could say, right, that's my intro. So I could record my intro on track 1, then on track 2 I could have my verse, or the start of my verse or whatever. And then that way, as soon as track 1 finishes, if I set it so that when track 1 finishes, track 2 starts automatically, then track 2 will start automatically, or I can stamp on it. Okay, where are we there? Reverse, don't know why you'd want to do that. This is really good. Right, this is another one where it makes this sort of, I don't use this really much, but it does make it a bit idiot proof. So I've got it as set on auto, but what you can do is you can have it on free, don't worry about what that is for now, but you can set it for a bar. So if you're playing 12 bar blues, you can set it to 12 bars. Alright, so then if we go over to track 1, if I've got it so that it works when it hears its first sound, so auto play, so as soon as I start playing my 12 bar blues, it will start recording 12 bar blues. As soon as I get to the end of my 12th bar, it will stop and automatically start looping. So that's really quite a cool feature, and again I think that goes up to, I don't know how many loops you can, how many bars, hundreds of them. Look. Okay, so that's that bit, and then you've got stop mode, immediate, fade out, loop end. I mean, they're all self-explanatory, aren't they? I think. Then you can change the play level, and don't forget this is the play level for each track. So if you sort of think, right, well, whenever I do a recording, I know I always play the bloody thing too loud. You can deliberately set it so it was, you can see I've set that so as it records, it plays back at 82 instead of 100 because it tends to be too loud. Then you can do the same with the record level, so it's basically the same sort of thing. You can turn the record level down, so, and this is, don't forget this is for each of these tracks. And then you can change the pan for each of these tracks, so if you're doing stuff in stereo. Loop sync on, so what that means is that that will try to sync up with the internal clock. So whatever you've got the rhythm set to, or the tempo rather set to, the machine will try its best to correct any cock-ups you make. Alright, and it'll try and sort of think, oh, it's a bit off there. And then you've got the tempo sync, which is the same sort of thing. And then you've got your output for track 1. Don't forget this is track 1, track 2, track 3. So I've got it going to main and sub. So you could have track 1 going to main and sub, but you think, right, well on track 2 I'll just have a pre-recorded click track, and I'll just have that going out of sub, and then you can have your sub going into your ear. Do you know what I mean? So again, you've got your separate click track on, say, track 3 or something like that. I just thought of that. Alright, and then that's pretty much it. So it's a monster of a machine, and it does everything. It's an incredible bit of kit. And it's quite a scary looking thing, but it's actually, once you start messing with it, and once you've got your head around the basic principle of how it does what it does, then everything kind of works the same, if you see what I mean. So all the adjustments are similar. And again, you can run controls off it. The only thing is that if you look at the track up and down, so hang on, I need to go exit. So if I change patches up and down, if I record something on track 1 and it's wrong and I want to get rid of it, you have to press the stop button for 3 seconds for it to clear. Now that's too long. So what I do is, out of the control, I have like an A/B switch, and what I do is I have that set for for patch up and down, because if you record something on track, so if I just press that, no, I've got nothing plugged in, but if I press that to start recording, so the red light's on, it's recording, you can see it's recording something. If I press stop, it automatically goes to play mode, so it's now looping, because that's how I had it set there, and you can see it's showing that there's something recorded on that. If I press stop, it stops playing, but it's saying there's something recorded. To clear that, if you watch, I have to press the button, so I'll press it now. That's how long it takes to clear that. So I've got it set that I just go track up, because if I do that again, record it, stop, it's playing, it's recorded. But if I go up and down the track, so if I change it to a different loop, you'll see when I come back to that track, it's cleared it. So I've got a switch that goes, I'll just go up one, down one, and that's cleared it. I think that's it. Okay, so that's all cool. If you or anybody else watching this wants a demo of how it actually works with a guitar plugged in or whatever, give me a shout. This has took 20 minutes, I do apologise. Just skip through it and find the bits that you think are relevant. But if anybody wants a demo or any more information, so I'm not an expert on this, but if you've got one or you're thinking of getting one, I will tell you that they do hold their money well. They've got a good resale value, so because these people want these, but they are quite expensive. And so I've had this about, I don't know, It must be 4 or 5 years, I think. I've never used it. Anyway, thank you very much. Bye.